All right. We are back. It has been a busy week. Oh, first off, we are outside once again. See? The rooster agrees. We are outside once again. So, don't mind the background sounds. I personally don't. I think it's a little charming. I like the sounds of the wind chimes and the chickens and the birds in the wind. And the roosters agree once again. So I think I've won this battle. It's been a busy week. I've been chugging away on some Sisters of Battle commissions for Seth. I finished 3 Paragon warsuits. And then I have a whole bunch more lined up. I got 3 more Paragons. And then I have the Triumph of Saint Catherine. I'm actually really excited about that. I've never done like a sub-assemblies on a model, so I think that definitely, that model in particular definitely calls for it, because there's so many pieces to it. And then I'm going to be doing the Jump Pack Sister Superior, which I'll talk about a little later. Lately I've been thinking a lot about value. I've been thinking about my value as a content maker. The value of my content and what it provides, whether it is knowledge or ideas or just entertainment. Thinking about this value, it just kind of led me to thinking about like war games and tabletop games and the value that they bring, or that different people get out of it, whatever game it may be. And this of course led me to thinking about what I value in the hobby. I know early on I have a tendency to be swayed by people's opinion, when getting into the hobby. Obviously, like you're trying to glean from those who have been in it for a minute or two. So, assuming that they've been around and understand the hobby and have been in it, like they know something. So I have a tendency to lean heavily on those opinions early on. But after thinking and sifting through the miasma of opinions and thought, both my own and others, I came up with a few things in the hobby that I value. And for me, like, it goes back to like Comic-Con. That was like some of my first interactions with Games Workshop stuff. I remember just being there and like seeing their booth, and of course they have like all the beautiful painted models that they have on display, which I totally stole one when I was a kid. Naughty little me. I don't have it, unfortunately, but it was some sort of, I'm pretty sure it was like a Templar, like a Black Templar or something or other. They always had these really cool like setup tables with their like beautiful terrain and the different like thematic, I don't know, just like beautiful setups to entice you to buy shit ultimately, but like to get you into this world. And that's really, I think, what got me into it. Like terrain, making terrain, creating this atmosphere, bringing to life these big battles. One of the things I've been talking about a lot with Seth, especially as he talks about like previous editions and stuff, is the interaction of things on the board. Especially this example is like with tanks and whatnot. Like tanks now, they blow up and like you roll to see if they cause any damage to those who are in it and those who are around it. Like, yes, well, I guess like back in the day, they used to have it where the tank could be left on the field and like be like an obstructing thing. And sometimes it blew up, but now it's created a crater. So now it's dangerous terrain, and just like you got to roll to get across that like safely. And maybe it didn't blow up. In that case, it's just disabled and it's sitting there. Now it's like blocking a passageway. And I really like that idea. I like the immersive terrain. I guess tying that all in, the thing that initially enticed me into this hobby. So yeah, I like terrain that creates atmosphere and immersion, but also has like an interactive element. I like the idea of it creating a narrative change on the board and causing like a narrative interaction and manipulating how you were going to do things. It kind of makes me think of like Theoden in the Two Towers at the Battle of Helm's Deep, you know, where he's thinking to himself, or no, he's not thinking to himself. He says it aloud. He's like, "Is this all the forces of Isengard can conjure?" You know, when the all the waves are just crashing on the walls unsuccessfully, but then the freaking Olympics runner comes in and blows a big old chunk out of his wall, and then old Theoden just like shits his pants, like stuff like that, like game-changing little moments on the board. I like that idea. Well, I guess when it comes to what I value in this game, that interactive quality with the board and like creating these really cool narrative moments that puts somebody who is ahead, puts them on the back foot, you know, makes it interesting. Adds a little spice. So all that to say, I've been making some cool terrain that I've been showing off in previous videos. Been making my Tyranid terrain. You know, I made the little the Tyranid spike, which I recently watched a video from Rogue Hobbies. She did like a lore video talking about these Tyranid constructs and how I think it was like Behemoth or Kraken. It's one of the hive fleets built this like massive construct spire, just like the one I built, but much larger, like going from a planetary like base up to like outer space, and it emits like some sort of noxious gas that's I'm sure positive for the Tyranids, but horrible for everybody else. But yes, I built this Tyranid spire thing. I've also built an egg sack thing, and where my creative energy has been this week is making a Carnifex bursting out of one of those eggs, out of one of these gestation sacks. You know, inspiration, of course, from sci-fi alien movies everywhere. But I had a few extra bits from my Carnifex brood kit that I got, and I wanted to bring this thing to life, and it was a lot of fun. It always trips me out, like what you can do with a little bit of like cardboard and hot glue, and yeah, really stoked on this. It's just a fun piece of like thematic terrain. I'm probably going to create like some sort of like homebrew rules for it. Maybe like it's an objective that needs to be destroyed, and then you have to procure something afterwards, or maybe it's like a piece of dangerous terrain, and like, you know, a certain proximity causes interaction with it, or maybe I'll set up an objective that's worth more at that location, so there's an incentive to take the risk to go near it. You know, I even thought like it'd be cool to have like a King of the Hill type deal where you have this thing centralized, and like I'm thinking like OPR style, where it's like you go, I go, you go, I go, just back and forth with your unit activations, and then after each activation you roll to see what happens with the hatching Carnifex in the middle, and what he'll always spew like an attack or something, but you roll to see who he hits each roll after each activation, and just make it really interesting. And you can kill the Carnifex, or you can shoot at your enemy, you know. So there's, I don't know, I think it could create like some really fun, cool stuff. So yeah, I built the Carnifex this week, or the Carnifex, the hatching Carnifex. Hope to use that in some future games. At the very least, it's a fun looking shelf piece that I'm proud of. So stoked on that. All this thinking about rules is inspired by playing a person's game this past week. It was a really cool experience, and inspiring to see somebody's conception brought to life. Seth's buddy Darth, I actually don't even know his Christian name. I actually don't know his name. I just know him by Darth right now. But he's created this like cool, fun game. I'm not going to share too much about it because I don't know how much he wants me to share or not. But it was cool. It was just cool to, yeah, once again, see somebody else's idea of a game and rules and rule set brought to life. I was super slow with understanding the rules, but it was still like a really interesting and fun game. And then I felt like by the end of it, like I got the gist, and I feel like after, another game or 4, I would be pretty good. It was a different style of game. There was a lot of card involvement. It was like a traditional deck of cards with like printed stuff on it that notated your special interactions and activations. A lot of the game, I did find myself yearning for dice to interact, even though the cards were effectively having the same effect to produce random success or failure. But yeah, once again, still cool to see a game in the making and experience a different style of game written within the tabletop mini realm. And just, it's eye-opening to a different way of doing it and thinking about playing a game. With that, it's just also a reminder to love and respect your game master. I've had the fortune of always having really great and patient people teach me games, and I know it takes a lot to teach games. It takes a lot to teach them well and thoughtfully and provide a positive experience and not make your players feel stupid, and then that goes for whether it's players who are seasoned or not being taught. Just respect your game master. If they're a good one. If they're an asshole, that's a whole nother thing. I just personally haven't experienced that yet. But yeah, I think that's been about it for my week. Some upcoming stuff. My buddy Seth and I want to do, this is going to be like a couple videos. We're going to do like a teaching each other to paint. So that jump pack Sister Superior I was talking about, I have one that I built and I was going to paint for him, and then he had another that he built and was going to paint. And so we're going to both paint them in the style that I would paint to, keep it with the sisters that I'm doing for him in general, like keep it cohesive with those. And then once we've done that, I'm not sure what model yet, but we're going to select another model to paint, and he's going to sort of teach me to paint in his style. So the sisters model will be in my style, and the whatever other model we select will be in his style. So it'll be cool. I do more of the, I guess, slap chop, where you dry brush I call it pre-shading, and then I tint it with the speed paints, do glazing, and then I do like a dry brush of acrylic over that at the end to kind of make it like cohesive. Where Seth, he does more the traditional the zenithal into like acrylic like layering and stuff, and like thin coats and layers. So I think that'll be a cool series, and just I'll learn some more things. Like hopefully we'll both learn things, and just fatten up our arsenal, fatten the toolbox. Another thing that we're doing lately is silver bayonet, kind of exploring that. I got hooked up with the Russians, and I'm very excited because the Russians have the werebear. I thought the werebear was going to be an actual, like bear creature, which I'm sure I could get a model. It's the game's mini agnostic. I could get a werebear model. The werebear one by the official game is actually more of this like Hagrid looking dude with like 2 axes. Still pretty cool. But yeah, got the Russians, got the werebear. Super stoked. I kind of like the old school, like crunchy looking models, and they're metal too. So this is going to be my first time painting them. I have some Bushido models that I talked about in a previous video. I still haven't gotten around to painting those, and I'm probably not going to for a while, especially now with these silver bayonet ones, but that's okay. And then, and along with the silver bayonet stuff, I'm still very much into the Death Wizards game, and I want to I don't know if it's going to be through the silver bayonet or Death Wizards rule set. I'll probably just do like some thing through OPR, but I want to do like a crossover between the two. I feel like they're similar eras. I'm gonna make it happen. I think it'll be fun and cool. At the very least, maybe like a little mini like cinematic thing I do when I complete my walking lair. But yeah, that's coming up. I'm stoked. I hope you're stoked. Yeah, what are you doing in the hobby? What do you value in the hobby? Like, what brings the most value for you? Are you getting into any new games? Learning any new techniques? Are you maybe growing stale in a certain process, and maybe you just need to flex the old creative muscle and learn something else. I kind of feel that way with my painting. I've found a very comfortable style. I'm not necessarily tired of it, but it's something I kind of wash and repeat, and it gives me a good result, and I'm happy with it. But I think it's good to step outside the comfort zone and learn something new. So I'm excited about that paint challenge that I have coming up. But yeah, what about you? What are you excited about learning, challenging yourself with, doing? Yeah. If you liked this video, please give it a like. You got something to say, shoot me a comment. Tell me what you're doing in your hobby world, what excites you. Oh, and also a reminder, I do have a Patreon. These videos, they take time to make, to shoot, to record, to ideate, to produce the things that I show you. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, you can head on over to Patreon and you can follow me for free. But there's also a paid option. Throw me $5 a month. Not too terrible. I put out a video a week, and then on the Patreon, I'm gonna have like behind the scenes stuff, notes. You'll have access to a Discord channel, and we can chat a bit more. So, I think that's it for now. Hope you enjoy the video. Like, subscribe, follow for more. Peace. Today is August 19, 2024. Here are 7 dice. Today's numbers are: on the D20, 6. On the D12, 12. On the D10, 7. On the percentage dice, 70. On the D8, 2. On the D6, 6. And on the D4, 2. Those are today's numbers.